Good morning, students. Today I am here with you to continue the lesson Gentlemen of Rio and Medio. So before going to start the lesson, let us have a short recap about the previous class. So in the last class, we saw that the author or the narrator of that story is Johann A. Cedillo. He telling us about the case he has attended, the realistic case that there was a gentleman in the village Rio and Medio. It came in New Mexico, USA. So he wanted to sell his inherited land and house, and that house was unpleasant, but it was attractive, and the orchard was gnarled and beautiful. So his name was Don Anselmo. He wanted to sell that land, but he was in no hurry. He has his own time, so that after a month of negotiation, they come to an understanding that a meeting has been arranged, and Don Anselmo came there, and the author described about his appearance also, that he had worn a long coat, old faded coat, and he wore gloves which was torn, and he had a cane in his hand, and he was followed by with a boy who was standing behind him. So after that, there was a talk about his family and rain. After that, they discussed the matter of selling the land, that the author told to Don Anselmo that they have surveyed the land, and it was extended, or it has been extended behind the river, and for the additional land, the Americans are ready to pay the extra amount. So hearing this, Don Anselmo he was disappointed about the author, and he told him that he didn't expect that he will speak in that manner. So at last, Don Anselmo, he didn't agree to take more money, and he only took $1,200 and went away from that place. So till that we have discussed. Let's continue the lesson. Page number 49. Students, observe the difficult words and my pronunciation. Page number 26, paragraph number 7. A month later, my friends had moved into Rio and Medio. They had replastered the old house, pruned the trees, patched the fence, and moved in summer. One day they came back to the office to complain. The children of the village were overrunning their property. They came every day and played under the trees, built little play fences around them, and took blossoms when they were spoken to. They only laughed and talked back good-naturedly in Spanish. I sent a messenger up to the mountains for Don Anselmo. It took a week to arrange another meeting. When he arrived, he repeated his previous preliminary performance. He wore the same faded cutaway, carried the same stick, and was accompanied by the boy again. He shook hands all around, sat down with the boy behind his chair, and talked about the weather. Finally, I broached the subject. Don Anselmo, about the ranch you sold to these people, they are good people and want to be your good neighbors always. When you sold to them, you signed a document, a deed, and in that deed, you agreed to several things. One thing was that they were to have the complete possession of the property. Now, Don Anselmo, it seems that every day the children of the village overrun the orchard and spend most of their time there. We would like to know if you, as the most respected man in the village, could not stop them from doing so, in order that these people might enjoy their new home more in peace. Don Anselmo stood up. We have all learned to love these Americans, he said, because they are good people and good neighbors. I sold them my property because I knew they were good people, but I didn't sell them the trees in the orchard. This was bad, Don Anselmo, I pleaded. When one signs a deed and sells real property, one sells everything that grows on the land, and those trees, every one of them, are on the land and inside the boundaries of what you sold. Yes, I admit it, he said. You know, he added, I am the oldest man in the village. Almost everyone there is my relative, and all the children of Rio and Medio are my sobrinos and nietos. My descendants, every time a child has been born in Rio and Medio, since I took possession of the house from my mother, I have planted a tree for that child. The trees in that orchard are not mine. Senor, they belong to the children of the village. Every person in Rio and Medio bought, since the railroad came to Santa Fion's, a tree in that orchard. I did not sell the trees because I could not. They are not mine. There was nothing we could do. Legally, we owned the trees, but the old man had been so generous, refusing what amounted to a fortune for him. It took most of the following winter to buy the trees individually from the descendants of Don Anselmo in the valley of Rio and Medio. So here, talking about the land, and Don Anselmo sell his land to the Americans, and he took the money of $1,200, and everything was Okay. So after that, after purchasing that land and house, what happened? Let's see from paragraph number 7. A month later, my friends had moved into Rio in Medio. Here, my means the author who is telling the story, the storyteller. Who is the storyteller of here? Yes, Johann A. Cedillo. His friends means the Americans who has purchased that land and house. A month later, so after purchasing that land, after 1 month, the other friends, means to say that the Americans who purchased that land and house had moved into Rio in Medio. They came to Rio in Medio to live in their new house. They had replastered the old house. So we already told that the house was unpleasant. So they decided to replaster that house. It is quite natural when we go to a new house. We will make paint for that house. Like that only they replaster the house. Prune the trees. Here observe a word prune. 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 Prune means to cut off. To cut off some branches of a tree to make it grow better. To make it grow better. So here we already told that the orchard was gnarled. It means to say that there was so many trees of different fruits and their branches were very aqua. So that the Americans who came to the house, who purchased that land, had pruned the trees. It means to say they cut the branches of the tree so that they will grow better. They pruned the trees, patched the fence. So the fence was there in the boundary line of the land. That was a little bit. It was not in good condition. So they patched the fence and moved in some. So after doing all these altars, they came to that house. It means to say that they painted the house, they replastered the house, they pruned the trees and they patched the fence. After that, they came to that house to live happily. One day, they came back to the office to complain. So there was a complaint. They have a complaint that after coming there, after some days, they came to the author's office. Who is the author here? A. Cedillo was a lawyer in profession. So they came to his office. Why did they come there? Because he was a mediator for that land. He only took the trade between them. So they came to complain. The children of the village were overrunning their property. So the children of the Rio and Medio, they were overrunning their property. Overrunning means to acquire. Overrunning their property. They came every day and played under the trees, built little play fences around them and took blossoms. So, the people of the children of the Rio and Medio, it was their habit that every day they are coming to his orchard and they are playing under the trees. So, they continue to play even after it has been purchased from the Americans. So, what they did, the children of the village, they played under the trees. They usually played under the trees, built little play fences. So, it is quite natural that when the children were playing, children are playing, they make some little fences, little houses like this, they are making. So like that only, build little play fences around them. So around the trees, they built little fences when they were playing and took blossoms. And they also took blossoms. Blossoms is flowers. Blossoms. When they were spoken to, they only laughed and talked back good naturedly in Spanish. So when the owner of that land, the Americans, questioned that the children will laugh and they spoke in good naturedly. Observe that, good naturedly in Spanish. So what was the complaint of the Americans here? That every day the children of the village came to their orchard and they played under the trees and built little fences around them and they took blossoms. And when they were asked about that, they only simply laughed and talked in good naturally in Spanish. So this was the complaint the Americans took to the author or the storyteller. So after hearing their complaint, so it is the duty of the storyteller to solve that problem, because he only mediated in that purchasing. So that's why he sent a messenger to the mountains for Don Anselmo. I sent a messenger up to the mountains for Don Anselmo. So to discuss this matter, the author or the storyteller A. S. Cedillo, he sent a messenger to invite or for Don Anselmo. So here I sent a messenger up to the mountains for Don Anselmo. He sent a message that there was a complaint about the children, and to discuss that matter you have to come to my office room. So like that he sent a message with a messenger to Don Anselmo. It took a week to arrange another week. So again they held a meeting, but it took nearly 1 week to arrange another meeting. When he arrived, he repeated his previous preliminary performance. So when the Don Anselmo came to author's office, he repeated the preliminary performance. Preliminary performance means what he has done in the first meeting. That he took up his hat and removed his gloves very slowly, and he handed over all the things to the boy who was behind him. So he has repeated those performances. He wore the same faded cutaway. Observe the word cutaway means a coat with front cut. A coat with front cut. That he wore the same faded cutaway, carried the same stick, and was accompanied by the boy again. So he wore the same faded coat. The coat he wore in the first meeting, he wore the same coat. He wore the same coat and came to the second meeting also. Carried the same stick and was accompanied by the boy again. So the things he has brought in the first meeting, he brought the same things in the second meeting also. He wear the same faded coat, he had bring the same stick, and was accompanied by the same boy who has come in the first meeting, who has came in the first meeting. He shook hands all around. When he entered the office, he shook the people who were there, who were sitting there in that office. Sat down with the boy behind his chair. He sat down on a chair and the boy stand behind him. And talked about the weather. First, they didn't came directly to the topic. First, when he came to the meeting, he talked about the weather. Finally, I broached the subject. So at last, the author started the topic why they have arranged the meeting. The subject of the meeting has been broached from the author. He addressed Don Anselmo. Don Anselmo, about the ranch you sold to these people. Don Anselmo, you have sold the ranch. Ranch means here very large farm. R-A-N-C-H. Ranch means a very large farm. A very large farm. A very large farm. So here the author is talking with Don Anselmo. Don Anselmo, about the ranch you sold to these people. Don Anselmo, you have sold your ranch to these people. These people means the Americans who have purchased that land. They are good people and want to be your good neighbors always. So the author is telling the introductory speech that they are good people. Again, the author telling to Don Anselmo, the land, the people you have sold the land they were very good people, and they were always want to be your good neighbors. Good neighbors means ನೆರೆಹೊರೆಯವರು ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ. ನೈಬರ್ಸ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ನೆರೆಹೊರೆಯವರು. Don Anselmo, ನೀನೇನು ಇವರಿಗೆ ನಿನ್ನ ಜಮೀನನ್ನು ಮಾರಿದೀಯಾ ಮನೆಯನ್ನು ಮಾರಿದೆಯಾ, ಅವರು ತುಂಬ ಒಳ್ಳೆಯ ಜನ ಮತ್ತು ತುಂಬ ಒಳ್ಳೆಯ ನೆರೆಹೊರೆಯವರಾಗಿ ಇರಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅವರು ಬಯಸ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. When you sold to them, you signed a document. When you sold to them, so when you are sold your land, your property, you have signed a deed. Deed means it is an agreement. You signed a document, a deed, and in that deed you have agreed to several things. So when you are sold your property, you have signed a document, a deed, a agreement. In that agreement you have agreed to several things. ನೀವೇನೋ ಒಂದು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಆಸ್ತಿಯನ್ನು ಮಾರಾಟ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಒಪ್ಪಂದಕ್ಕೆ ನೀವು ಸಹಿ ಹಾಕಿದ್ದೀರಾ, ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ತುಂಬಾ ವಿಷಯಗಳಿಗೆ ನೀವು ಒಪ್ಪಿಕೊಂಡು ಸಹಿ ಹಾಕಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. One thing was that they were to have the complete possession of the property. So the people who have purchased that land have full power on that property, isn't it? Property. Now Don Anselmo, it seems that every day the children of the village overrun the orchard and spend most of their time there. So Don Anselmo, you have sold your property to the Americans, and they are good people, and they wanted to be your good neighbors. When you are selling your property, you have signed a document, a deed. In that you have agreed several things. In that one of them is the people who have purchased that land have most power on it. But what is happening now means that every day the children of your village, the children of Rio and Medio, they were coming there and they were spending most of their time there. So this was the complaint. We would like to know if you, as the most respected man in the village, could not stop them from doing so in order that these people might enjoy their new home more in peace. So here the author requesting the Don Anselmo that you have to tell those children, because you are the respected man in that village, and the people will obey your orders or your words, so that you have to tell that those children to not to come there. Then only the people of that Americans can live happily. We would like to know if you, the most respected man in the village. Exactly. Obviously, he was the respected man in that village. Could not stop them from doing so. So here the author telling to Don Anselmo to say those children who are coming to that orchard to stop doing so. ನೀವು ಆ ಒಂದು ಹಳ್ಳಿಯ ಗೌರವಾನ್ವಿತ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಯಾಗಿದ್ದೀರಾ, ಆ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಬಂದು ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಗಲಾಟೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅವರನ್ನ ನೀವು ತಡಿಬಹುದಲ್ಲ, ಆ ರೀತಿ ಮಾಡಿದಂಗೆ ನೀವು ತಡಿಬಹುದಲ್ಲ. ನೀವು ಹಾಗೆ ಮಾಡೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಈ ಮನೆಯನ್ನ ಆಸ್ತಿಯನ್ನ ಕೊಂಡುಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥವ್ರು ನೆಮ್ಮದಿಯಾಗಿ ಜೀವನ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆತರ್ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. Don Anselmo stood up. Now the Don Anselmo stood up and he started to speak. Here one word is there. new word, broach, B-R-O-A-C-H. Broach means rise the topic, R-A-I-S-E. Rise the topic. So now Don Anselmo stood up and started to speak. We have all learned and to love these Americans. So now Don Anselmo is telling that we have all learned to love these Americans. So we have to love. We should not give any problem to the Americans. We have to love them. He said, because they are good people and good neighbors. So the people who have purchased his property were good people, and they were also good neighbors, that Don Anselmo is telling. I sold them my property because I knew they were good people. So now Don Anselmo is telling that I sold my property to them because I know that they are good people. I know that they are good people. But I didn't sell them the trees in that orchard. Now, here is a turning point of this story. Don Anselmo, he sold his property to the Americans. But now he is telling that I sold my property, but I didn't sold the trees in that orchard. Because he is telling that they were not mine. They were not mine. Now, this was bad, Don Anselmo. I plead it. Don Anselmo, this was not good. This was bad, Don Anselmo. I plead it. When one signs a deed and sells real property, one sells also everything that grows on the land. And those trees, every one of them, are on the land and inside the boundaries of what you sow. So here, the author is telling to Don Anselmo. Don Anselmo, this was bad. Don Anselmo, what you are telling that? You have sold your property. Selling the property means you have sold what was there inside the boundaries of the property. But now you are telling that you have not sold the trees which were grown on that orchard. This is not good. Nobody will agree for this. Like that he is telling. This was bad, Don Anselmo. I plead it. The author pleaded Don Anselmo, and he also gave the explanation, the law explanation he is giving, legal explanation. When one signs a deed and sells a real property, if one person sells his property, one signs a deed and sells his property, one sells also everything that grows on the land. It means to say that one sells his property means he has sold everything which was there on that land. And those trees, every one of them, it may be trees, whatever it may be there, has been sold, or on the land and inside the boundaries of what you sold. So, one has to, if once a property has been sold means the things the trees, whatever it may be in that property, on that boundary, has been sold. And then Don Anselmo telling that, yes, I admit that. Don Anselmo also agreed for that. Yes, admit that, he said, you know, he had it. And he continued his speech. I am the oldest man in the village. You know that I am the oldest man in this village. In which village? Rio and Medio. I am the oldest man in this village. Almost everyone there is my relative, and all the children of Rio and Medio are my sobrinos and nietos, my descendants. So, I am the oldest man in this village, and everyone there is in my relatives, and all the children of Rio and Medio are my sobrinos and nietos and descendants. So you know that he is telling to the author, you know that I am the eldest man in this village, and the people who were there in that village all are my descendants, my relatives, and the children who were there in that village all are my sobrinos and nietos. Here observe a word. Sobrinos and relatives means Spanish for nieces and nephews, the grandchildren. So the children who were there in that village were all his grandsons or grandchildren, and the people are there in that village all are his relatives and his descendants. Every time a child has been born in Rio and Medio, since I took possession of the house from my mother. So when I got the power from my mother, every children who are there, they belong to. Child has been born in Rio and Medio since I took possession of from my house. So when I took the in charge of my house, in charge of my property, so from that every child has born in that village, I have planted a tree for that child. So when I took the charge of my house and my property, after that I have planted whenever a child has been born in that village. Andre ಆ ಹಳ್ಳಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇವರು ಮನೆಯ ಒಂದು ಯಜಮಾನಿಕೆಯನ್ನು ವಹಿಸಿಕೊಂಡ ಮೇಲೆ ತಮ್ಮ ತಾಯಿಯಿಂದ ಯಾವ ಅವರು ವಹಿಸಿಕೊಂಡ ನಂತರ ಆ ಹಳ್ಳಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ಮಗು ಹುಟ್ಟಿದ್ರು ಕೂಡ ಆ ಮಗುವಿನ ಒಂದು ಹೆಸರಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಸಸಿಯನ್ನ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಗಿಡವನ್ನ ನೆಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು. The trees in that orchard are not mine. The trees which were there in that orchard were not mine. Sinner, they belong to the children of the village. So, the trees which were there, it were not mine. The trees belong to the children. That's why they are coming every day and they are playing under the trees. They belong to the children because he had planted the tree whenever the child has been born on that village. The name of that child only, he had planted the trees so that the trees are belong to the children of that village. Every person in Rio and Medio born since the railway road came to Santa Fion's, a tree in that orchard. So when the railroad came to Santa Fio's, there was from that time only the trees are there from the orchard. I didn't sell the trees because I could not. They are not mine. I can't sell the trees. ನನ್ನಿಂದ ಆ ಮರಗಳನ್ನು ನಾನು ಕೆಲೆ ಮಾರಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಆ ಮರಗಳು ನನ್ನವಲ್ಲ. Here observe your word senor. SENOR. Senor means a word of respect, a word of respect, a word of respect like Mr. in English, like Mr. in English. And also one more word is there here. Is descendants. DES CNDANS. Descendant means a group of people, a group of people, a group of people related to family, related to family, related to family that existed long ago, that existed long ago. Means to say ಒಂದೇ ವಂಶಕ್ಕೆ ಸೇರಿದಂತಹ ಒಂದು ಹಲವಾರು ತಲೆಮಾರುಗಳನ್ನು ಹೊಂದಿರತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಒಂದು ಕುಟುಂಬ. So the Don Anselmo, he told his decision that he can't sell the trees of in the orchard because it was not his, it was not belong to him. They were belong to the children of Rio and Medio. There was nothing we could do. So when Don Anselmo told like this, the author told us he can't do anything because legally we owned the trees, but the old man had been so generous. Legally they owned the land. Legally they have all the power on that trees, but the old man was so generous. Here the old man means Don Anselmo. He was so generous. Generous. He was a very good person. He was a respected person. Nobody will go against him. Nobody can't argue with him. Refusing what amounted to a fortune for him. He was generous. The author called him generous because Don Anselmo refused the amount which was offered to him. Which was offered to him. That previous class we saw that they are ready to pay the additional amount for the additional land. But Don Anselmo didn't take that. He only took the amount which was already decided. How much? $1,200. That only he took. So that's why he was a generous. It took most of the following winter to buy the trees. So it took the next winter. So they came to their new house in the summer, but it took next winter to buy the trees. Again they individually from the descendants of Don Anselmo in the valley of Rio and Medio. So the author and the Americans once again they could not go against Don Anselmo. Don Anselmo already told them that they were not mine, they were belong to the children. So what they did, the Americans, they purchased each tree from the real owner, from the descendants of Don Anselmo. And it took again 3 to 4 months. 6 months they took for that. So like this, they owned the land in the respective way. So that what we have understand here, the selflessness of Don Anselmo. He told that I have planted a tree when a child has been born in the village. So that's why the trees are belong to the children of that Rio and Medio. So this was the way why we have called him as the gentleman. So now the lesson has been completed now. Dear students, you please go through the lesson and understand the lesson well, and you have to answer the questions for the homework I am giving you. For homework, that why do you think the Americans wanted to buy Don Anselmo's land? Second question. Don Anselmo's reaction. Don Anselmo's reaction to the offer of more money more money was not expected. Was not expected. Justify this statement. Justify. So these are the questions, two questions I am giving you to for the homework, and you have to read the lesson carefully and understand that, and then you have to write the answer for this question. I hope all you have enjoyed this lesson, and you have to try to adopt the good values which were there in that lesson. Okay, thank you.